And good evening and welcome to, wow, it's firework night, still around near my house, episode 35. Tonight, I'm just letting you all know I am wearing a t-shirt, well, a hoodie. That means a lot to me, and he is on the side of that side to me. So yeah, there we go. Paul, if you're looking.
I'm not. I'm actually looking for. Oh,
This hoodie, this hoodie is over, I think it's 3 years old, over 3 years old, and it's still in mint condition. And yeah, this hoodie, if anybody knows the story behind it, you should know by now. So how you doing, Paul? How's your week been? I can see you've been a bit elitist again this week, just using the Billet Box exclusivity. The pro's gone to the wayside, I see. What have you had for tea, and how are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm using the Billet Box with the bloodsugar 12 milligram 50/50, and I had a carvery for tea.
Oh, what meat? What meat's from the carvery though?
I had turkey, but to be fair, I ate about a square centimetre of turkey. I'd already had to fuck it back once because it was cold and kick off in there. And
I can imagine that was some fun then.
to be fair, it was more. We went in there. It's literally. It's where you stayed before. It's fucking 2 minutes from my house. And we went in there. We normally go in there at least once a week, and just have normally Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we'll go in there and I'll meet Tash from school with the kids and whatever. And the last time we went in there, it just seems to have gone downhill. And I complained about it being cold, and they give me my dinner free or something like that.
What was it? Just were it above the heat, like under the heaters, or
Mate, I don't know. It was just shit. It used to be fire in there, but it always seemed to be busier. So obviously the food's getting turned over faster. So something happened in there that it just never seems as busy. So the food's not getting turned over as quick. But the kids went up and got their food and whatever, and then it was literally tepid at best. And then the woman come over, and the woman's lovely in there. She always knocks us the dinner off and gives us free drinks and a free pudding and that. So then she gets a bigger tip. She wrote fucking snored cheese, but she's actually really nice. But she said she come over, is everything all right, love? And I said, actually, it's not. I said, it's cold. She's like, you know what? Let me go and get the manager because I'm sick of this because someone else has just complained. And the manager come out and, well, first of all, I was getting more. Tash went up with the kids and got their dinner. Then I went up to get mine. So I was watching Emmy. Then I went to get mine when she come back. And then she come to get something for Emmy in the bowl or whatever. And she was like, it's cold, this is. And I said to the bloke, says, what's cold? And she was like, this. And the other bloke went, we don't serve hot food. And I was like, it's a cooked dinner, you mad geezer.
It's cold. What do you mean it's not hot food?
And he was like, it's 65 degrees. And I was like, it ain't 65 degrees anyway, mate. And then I went back to the table. Then she come over and asked. To be fair, they brought out complete fresh everything. They replaced the whole lot, all the trays, all the meats, everything. Then it was all right.
Sounds like you're always having shit when you go out. The only place
I was there before Tasha, and I said to Tasha, she phoned me, she video called me, and I was like, I've just pulled up outside there, and I was parking up, but I need to have a shit. I said, so I'm going to run in there, have a quick dump, and I'll get a table sorted and drinks and whatever. So I ran in there. The woman was in there who always serves us, and I was like, yeah, we'll have that table there, 2 coffees, 3 soft drinks. I'm snipping to the toilet. So I'm sitting having a shit. Then I've heard Emmy and Ava and Mia, Dad, we need your help. There's a man shouting at Mum outside, and I was like, fucking hell, man. I was fucking wiping my ass, trying to get up. Went out, and some geezer, one of the kids had opened the door on his van and dinked the door into his van. Not fucking majorly, because obviously they're trying not to scratch Tasha's car more than they're worried about dinking the fucking van, to be fair. And he was kicking off at the kids and whatever, and Tash got out and said, who the fuck are you talking to? I don't speak to my kids like that. You can see I'm sitting there. If they've marked your car, tell me, I'll pay for it. It's not a problem. And he was kicking off and whatever, and she was like, you know what, fuck you. And she said to the girls, go and get your dad. And by the time I come out, he fucking drove off anyway. Fucking idiot.
Oh, I can imagine that would have been a bit.
You know, like when you've only done a half wipe on your ass, mate. I left the shit house thinking if he's out there shouting, I'll knock him out so I can go back and wipe my ass properly. I swear, I was like, fuck's sake. I was like fucking greased up, half greased up, like, and I was going to run out there, fucking bang the cunt out, run back in the shit house and fucking wipe my ass.
Going out for a pint, half moist. Fucking hell. Half wipe, you know.
No, because obviously, like with all the carjacking and shit, like the girls were like half vague. Like this man's shouting at mum, we need your help, we need your help. But obviously they were shouting from the door. They hadn't even come into the toilet. I'm in the cubicle having a fucking Timbuktu. And I could just hear the kids shouting and whatever. Dad, we need your help quick. There's a man shouting at mum. I didn't really know what, but then I didn't know whether there's some geezer saying, give me your fucking keys, and Tasha's kicking off with him, knowing that I'm inside. And like really, it was one of them shits where I needed half a pack of baby wipes. I knew it was like a few fucking squares of toilet paper weren't going to cut it. Do you know what I mean? I was like, fuck, you know.
Please do not tell me it was fucking tracing paper toilet roll as well.
But the thing was, I'd already had to go into the other cubicle to get the toilet roll out of there to go into my cubicle because there weren't a lock on the cubicle that had the shithouse paper. And it's not even a roll of paper, it's in the dispenser. So I was just going, and I had like this big pile of fucking toilet paper on my lap. It weren't even like I could pull it off the roll quick and have a cheeky wipe. I ended up like scrunching, which I never do, man. I hate wiping my ass with scrunch paper. Normally, I've fucking folded it neatly and that. And I was like, fuck's sake, man. If ever there's a time I wanted a shit in peace, it was right about now. Do you know what I mean? I fucking ran out there and Tash was walking in saying he's just drove off, and I was like, all right, and I'll go and fucking clean myself up then, and I'll fucking sit down. It was cold. I was like, fuck's sake.
Anthony said you didn't run out the bog with a roll hanging out your trousers, did you? Oh, all about the folds. I just want to see in the chat who's a folder and who's a scruncher. So if you're a folder, you're a scruncher, put scruncher.
I don't, whenever I see someone wiping their ass with scrunch paper, you know when you can do that fucking painted effect where you paint something and then you roll fucking scrunched up newspaper over it and it makes it look all fucking rustic. That's the image I've got of my ass if I scrunch paper and wipe it afterwards. Actually, all I've done is made it look old.
I honestly thought you were going to tell me you were going to do that one finger trick.
Where you shove your finger up your arse and then wipe your finger with the one square of paper. That's what my pal told me about that. He was in the Marines and he was like, when we're out on fucking, like, he was in the paras, the paratrooper, when he was in the Marines, and they were out fucking fight because he got fucking one of his fingers shot off literally by a handgun. The same age as me, I went to school with him. But he was saying to me, look, when we're out there, when they were training for the Marines and that, they've got this backpack that weighs about fucking 40 kilos, but it's like proper Bear Grylls, wouldn't even fucking, you know what I mean? They're just trained to the highest end. And he's like, literally, if you're out there for fucking 12 days, you get like 12 sheets of toilet paper. And I was like, mate, I use about half a roll when I have a shit. How the fuck did you get by on 12 days? And he's like, literally, you fucking basically wipe your fucking ass with your finger and then wipe your finger with one square of paper. And I was like, fuck, you'd have bad curry finger, man. Constantly. He'd be like, fuck's sake.
The worry is, well, I'm not going to wash the finger afterwards. That's the problem. So we don't get...
I'm a cunt, I am, for biting my nails and that. You're like, oh, fuck's sake.
Oh my god. Just looking at your fingers. Yeah, that's not chocolate.
Exactly. I'd rather wipe it on a fucking IED and blow the shit off my arsehole. Fucking wipe it properly.
Oh my fucking god. Well, sounds like you had a fun fucking evening. That is fucking brilliant. Oh my god. Where'd you go? Realistically, where the fuck do you go? Oh. Enough of fucking bog roll. So we've got Ask the Boys later on tonight. I did put out a status today asking for questions for Ask the Boys. So we do Ask the Boys. So we've got a little bit of news to go through, and it's not about Paul wiping his house, I promise you. Right, let me just get the articles up. I have got a little bit of notes. Basically, the news this week is going to be predominantly about America and vaping in America and the big epidemic that they're calling it for kids vaping. That's all there is in the news really for vaping in the world at the minute is about America and how they're going so strict with it. So the first one I'm going to start off with is there's an article that's come out, and the governor who's out there, I said his name a few weeks back, Gottlieb, his name is, that's the governor in America that's putting all this stop to vaping and whatnot. And he's now saying that they should be introducing drug therapy to teenagers to stop them using e-cigarettes.
That geezer needs to fucking learn how to wipe his ass with one sheet of toilet paper. He's mad.
The article says, Paul, this is exactly what the article says. It says, Gottlieb, do teen vapors need big pharma intervention?
Yeah, obviously they do because it'll bring him in more fucking money than mad cunts.
Everything at the minute in the news in the States is all about flavor bans. It's all about getting kids off vaping. They're even this month in the States, they're even doing a vape-free November.
Vape-free November.
Vape-free November. Like we do Stoptober for fucking cigarettes, they want to do a vape. They're doing a vape-free November. To me, this is getting beyond a fucking joke in the States. So we've got also in the news. So these are all three sections we need to discuss. And another section is that there's currently 3 vape shops in the States getting sued for selling to kids. We all got opinions on kids vaping and whatnot, and we'd rather our kids vape than smoke, but we'd rather them do neither. So we're going to start off with selling to minors. 100%. What's your opinion on selling to minors?
I don't think I don't think he should be sold to minors. I don't think he should be encouraged to be sold to minors. At the end of the day, from my honest opinion is that it's still an addiction. And although it might be a cooler addiction than smoking tobacco, it's an addiction that. See, I think if America used their noggin and they go the way they want. If I was running America and my objective is to stop vaping because it's starting people smoking, I'd reduce the age to 12 and I'd get every cunt in the fucking country vaping, and then I'd say there's no more vaping. All them cunts will start smoking.
Yeah.
But so, and I do like people are saying, no, it's not a gateway to cigarettes. It's not a gateway to cigarettes while vaping's available. But I do believe that if vaping was banned in the UK in 5 years' time, there's lots of kids that have started vaping because it's cool that would carry on smoking if they couldn't get hold of vape gear. So that's where I believe it's a gateway to a habitual habit, even more so than an addictive habit. So even if you're vaping 0 milligram, the chances are you'd go, oh fuck, I ain't got my vape anymore. I'll have a cigarette. Even didn't smoke before, possibly.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I agree that they should be like moving forward and saying yes, it should be vape. Kids should be vaping. I get that 100%. I think where do you put the line? Because they're wanting to having this massive epidemic about banning vaping. Where the fuck is it starting? Where you're going to ban cigarettes?
They won't ever do it. That's my point. I've said it before. That's what fucks me off. It's not about health. It's not about concern of the kids. It's about revenue from cigarettes. Can you imagine how many? I don't even know what the tobacco industry is worth in America. Billions and billions and billions of pounds across it. It's a massive, massive country where cigarettes are way cheaper than they are in the UK. So lots more people smoke, lots more cigarettes. I don't know. I don't understand it at all. I honestly don't.
I'm going to find out. I'm trying to find out the.
Robin's just said in chat that obviously in America, minors are, in a lot of states, minors are under 21 or under 21 as well.
Yeah, everything, even that drink. Well, the thing is, once again, is then you start looking at laws, and you look at driving laws in the States. You can drive when you're 14, but you can't watch porn till you're 18, sorry, till you're 21, but you can fucking have sex when you're 18. It makes no sense. Like everything's back to front. Legally,
by the time they're 18 and they want to get their cock wet, they've spent the last 4 years driving to the local drug dealer to pick up their crack because they can't do fuck all else.
It's the system's back to front. You can fucking have sex when you're 16 legally in the UK, but you can't buy porn off the shelf till you're 18. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that's because to fucking whip your cock out and come over a bird's tits when she's 16 is a bit wrong, isn't
it? But it's legal.
You got to have 2 years of just like finding your own feet. They're fucking watching fucking porno, but fucking 11. I bet every time the mum has a washing machine engineer come in their house, they expect him to go in and slap his cock up his mum's cheeks.
Oh, what's that called? What's that film called? That's a film, that, isn't it? What's it? Confessions of a Window Cleaner off Confessions of a Plumber, isn't it? Soft 80s porn.
I mean, Anthony Sullivan's just said also they've realised that if people are stopping smoking and the health service starts losing money, that's something that I've advocated right from the start. That obviously the two biggest revenue streams for both the UK and for America certainly is Big Pharma and Big Tobacco. So Big Tobacco rape all your money for fucking 30 years through taxing cigarettes like fuck, and then Big Pharma rape you for taking drugs to cure the cancer that the fucking tobacco gave you. And the other thing that I've said for about 2 years now was when I was on a seminar ultimately about vaping, and it was the first time someone said, even back then, maybe even 3 or 4 years ago, it was a long time ago. And what this bloke was saying was he believed that within 10 years, Big Pharma would control the industry and then stamp the industry out worldwide and go back to tobacco. Because
a long time.
And it was sort of a twofold thing. Well, a threefold thing. You've got the revenue from the tobacco, you've got the revenue from Big Pharma. If people are healthier, they live longer, which means they're claiming state benefits fucking longer. And then the other thing was that if everyone who started smoking today, everyone that was smoking today started vaping, we're going back 4 years, and obviously we've probably tripled the number of vapers in the UK in the last 4 years, if not fucking quadrupled it times. I don't know what the fucking growth is, but it's big. Is that obviously people would start to have a better quality of life. The kids that start vaping have never smoked. But the trouble is, you've got the likes of me that's fucking 42 years old that that smoked 60 fags a day for fucking 20 odd years. The chances are, more chances of getting cancer are still probably higher than most people.
Mm.
And on that basis, even though I'm not now buying cigarettes and putting my money into the system that way, there's a real big chance that I'll have to rely on healthcare for problems caused from smoking for 25 years at that level of cigarette. So they're losing revenue off the tobacco. They're then losing revenue because the people that would normally start smoking are no longer even started smoking the vaping. So they're not using the same amount of medical supplies. But then they've got probably 2 generations worth of people that have smoked, or 3 generations worth of people that have smoked, that have started vaping, where they've lost the income from the tobacco instantly, but they're still probably going to have the same resource on the health system to a greater or lesser extent that's not being funded from fucking nowhere. So there's all these issues to think about. And actually, I still believe that ultimately Big Pharma and Big Tobacco pretty much dictate the comings and goings of the world, because they put so many billions of pounds into every single fucking country, every government, and it makes it tick.
Well, I've just found out how much Philip Morris is worth. I can't find how much the net worth of US tobacco is, but the net worth of Marlboro, Philip Morris, is 159.44 billion. He's worth 160 billion, basically.
Yeah, so he's worth 160 billion, and something like 80% of tobacco sales is tax for the government. So how much the fuck, you know what I mean? Like if he's worth 160 billion, and by the time you've manufactured the cigarettes, and I know they're only pennies to manufacture, if his net profit off all of that is somewhere probably between 5 and 7%, then the government have had however many trillion off him. And he's not the be all and end all, because there's obviously BAT and other companies that aren't Philip Morris. You know what I mean? It's just fucking such big, vast amounts of money that they can literally, mate. All these reports that come out, both in America and 2 years ago in the UK, until the Heart Foundation or whatever it was done their one, every single report up until that point was funded by Big Tobacco.
Yeah.
And actually, when the official reports come out from a non-tobacco based company and said this is 90, what was it, the World Health Organization, whatever,
Yeah.
95% safer than tobacco. Within 2 years, Big Tobacco was snapping up shit left, right, and centre, because actually they lost that battle. So actually, to win the war, they've just got to buy the whole industry.
And he can do that with his net worth.
Yeah, that's why they're spending millions and millions and millions of pounds. They're probably not even making a single penny out of vaping at this minute in time.
What did he say his marketing campaign was? Was it 35 million?
What's that?
You know, when he was doing his marketing campaign for ICOS, was it 35 million in just marketing?
I know that Blue have a £25 million budget for 6 months to get it into 1,800 stores in the UK.
25 million's fucking nothing.
6-month marketing campaign where they were giving the free products to the shops, and basically what they're doing is, in my opinion, again, is using vape shops to advertise the Blue product, because they've realised that this is quite a lifestyle type industry. Something that didn't really dawn on me till one of our shows when we were talking out loud. I never understood why 5 years ago Big Tobacco didn't jump on this industry, and I genuinely believe now that they used me and every other small independent company that took vaping by the bollocks and run with it to actually educate the user, build up this social awareness, get it to the levels it's got to on social media, make it socially acceptable, and then they'll come in and do it, because they haven't got the time to do all the shit we've spent doing for the last 6 years. They're not interested. They'd rather come into the industry when it's at its peak, pull the rug from under every cunt's feet, and crack on and make their money. So I do think, I always used to think, I could never understand why they'd never run with it as quickly as they should. And I always felt like we'd been given an opportunity to take advantage of it. But actually, in hindsight, I'd imagine they were thinking, when there was 1 million vapers in the UK, the industry was worth something like £10 million a year or whatever. It's fuck all, mate. They're doing £10 million daily. So it's like, let's fucking leave that. Leave it till it's grown to a point where it's socially acceptable. It's social. I mean, you know yourself, mate. When I first started vaping, everyone assumed I'm smoking some sort of drug through this device. They don't want all that shit and drama. Actually, they help put the TPD in place. They help regulate an industry they weren't even heavily involved in.
Yeah, for future plans, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and it's there. It will happen. It will happen without a doubt. It will happen. It's just whether we've got 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see.
If they saw a decline, they'd move away from it, or they'll do what they're doing.
The what? Sorry.
If they saw a decline in the industry and the money, do you think they would sort of move away from it, or still take it over?
Say that all over again, because your internet went fuzzy.
I'm saying, if they saw a decline in sort of vaping, they're not going to. But for example, if they saw a decline in the money value of vaping, do you think they would still carry on like they do and take it over, or would you think they'd move away from it?
I honestly think that bloke that said within 10 years they will control and remove it from our existence, I believe that's the way that it will probably go. Or a 10ml bottle of liquid will cost you £12.99. And you say, oh, but it's still probably equivalent to smoking 80 cigarettes.
Mm.
So it might be that a 10ml bottle costs you 20 quid and it lasts you a week, instead of buying 10 fags a day. By that time, they'll be £15 a packet. So I think, and then the margin on a 10ml bottle of liquid at fucking £20 a bottle is a pretty good margin. Even if the government's taking, I mean, it won't be for us. It'd be like now, if I went to the wholesalers when I used to buy cigarettes, I used to go to Costco and buy them. So wholesalers go there and buy fags for their shops. Mate, I'd get them 9 quid cheaper to buy 200 than I would buy them from the shop. It's not even £1 a packet. 90 pence a pack cheaper to buy them in 200s to sell to retail to a customer than it is for me to go and buy them from Asda. So if I'm then selling a bottle of liquid at 20 quid, but I'm buying it for fucking £18.50, I'm making less money than I am currently on a 10ml bottle of liquid.
Yeah.
And all it means is that the government then start topping up their coffers through various means, because there will be people that do not want to go back onto the tobacco. And once they've got absolute control of it, and they will have, then you watch prices of vape gear will rocket like fuck.
Yeah. Do you think that there would be a time where they would come in and tax it all?
100%. That's my belief, is that ultimately once they've got, I mean, mate, if you go back to the late 70s, early 80s, 550 plus tobacco companies producing cigarettes in America. The top 5 at the time went to the government and said, listen, we are actually killing people. You're right. We didn't realise. Now, everyone knew. Everyone knew what was going on. So what we'll do is we will self-regulate our industry. To do that, we need to implement this, and this. They were the only 5 cunts that could afford to do it. And then they went round and cherry-picked what bits of the industry they wanted to buy, because they had a good brand, a good following, they had good sales, and which bits were shit, and they left it to the wayside. Now, the ones that got left to the wayside couldn't afford to regulate. Now, if you can imagine at the moment, to put an ISO 7 clean room in, I think we could probably do for less than 25 grand. In fact, easily I could do it for less than 25 grand. At a push, we could probably do it for somewhere between 15 and 20,000 pounds. You go to an ISO 1 lab and you're probably looking at a fucking 7 to 10 million pound investment, because it's next level. Now, I know that there's 2 big tobacco companies that are producing e-liquid to 10 times the level of cleanness than what's required under TPD. Now, they're not doing that for any other reason than to ultimately, at some point in the next 5 years, is go to the government and say, listen, you've set these regulations at this benchmark, everyone's complying. They've backdoored the fuck out of you with short fill. So that will get, whenever the next round of regulation amendments can be done, which I believe is next in 2020, then I'd imagine short fill will get wiped out in a fucking heartbeat, because they have lost millions of pounds in revenue, because I can produce a short fill in my house. I can send it off for an hour, because a clean room, an ISO 7 clean room, mate, it's nothing. HEPA filters is the most expensive thing, is the filtration system. And actually, there's nothing in TPD that says it has to be done in an ISO 7 clean room.
Doesn't need to be done in a clean room.
So I can produce liquid in my kitchen on stainless steel work surfaces. I can pay 1,200 quid to have it analysed and get my certs, and I can sell it freely.
Yep.
If I had to have every single flavour, every single strength tested under TPD, every man and their dog, bar maybe 20% of what's out there at the moment, and they're already the well-established companies that have made lots of money out of this industry, everyone else would go, fuck, I can't afford to do this. Because they're making liquid for fucking 4 quid and they're selling it for 7 quid. They haven't got the margin in there to reinvest into the product, into the future, into the clean rooms, into the potential regulation change. They just haven't. So on that base, it's only going to be the people that are wise with their money now that are going to be able to make any step change in regulation as it's forced. Now, if Big Tobacco go to the government with a report that they will do, which will probably cost 10 billion fucking pounds to put together, and say, we've achieved this level, everyone should achieve this level. That way, then we can be 99.9% sure that this product is safe, that's out on market. The government are not going to fucking look that in the face. They're going to say exactly what they've done with tobacco is, okay, then let's do that. However, we need to look at the taxation classification of these products.
I feel like, me personally, even if they put a statement out saying that it would scare 99.9% of the fucking industry, I believe even people out there who are now sitting on clean rooms and using clean rooms day in, day out, even though they don't need to be using clean rooms, and they're sat there on thousands of pounds worth of gear. And you imagine a statement being put out by like the governing body turning around and going, listen, were thinking of doing this, I think 99% of the market would go, fuck me, I'm out, I'm taking my money, I'm off.
But these are the sort of things that will happen, where actually, if you're faced with a situation where there's companies out there that are worth now many millions of pounds to sell, and if you hold it out to a point where big tobacco start imposing regulation that could cost you £20 million to comply, if you had if me and Tasha had amassed a £25 million fortune in the last 7 years, and for me to continue, I've got to invest 80% of that fortune to carry on, I'd fucking walk away in a heartbeat and say, fuck that, I'm not risking my money.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's the reason a lot of people would do, because at the end of the day, you're thinking about the investment you've made and the money you've made for your families, rather. Because once again, a lot of these companies, I won't say 90% of these companies, probably less, but a lot of them are family-run businesses. So you've got your money to put food on the table for your families. And the minute somebody comes in like that, you're going to be like, fuck that, I'm off. Regardless of the situation, you're still going to be like, nah.
Void that big tobacco will fill.
Hmm.
They'll just fill that void, simple as.
But also, Paul, do you think that people that are already ready with clean room would go, all these little boys who can't afford to get get it manufactured because they can't afford ISOs, what we're going to do is we're going to invest a shitload of money in ISO, and they've all got to come to us.
But that's the other thing then. They end up controlling it either way. But actually what will happen is they'll end up going, if I use Dale as an example, Dale's obviously made good money out. He's got a good, healthy business there, and he's invested his money as he's gone along, and he's changed premises, he's grew shops, and he's put in a bigger facility now. He's just got the bottling machine in and all them things. It all takes chunks of money out of any fucking net worth of that business, even if it means putting in back personal money back into that company to help you grow along these steps. Because every time, it's like us with it's like I always said, when we invested the money. Is that a real? I thought it was a real kid that had got a skin condition. It's a bit fucking real. I don't mind that for our girls. I'm thinking more for paedophiles. They'd love that, wouldn't they?
I'm not even going to ask.
No. Look at this, right? We've been looking for reborns for the kids.
Oh my God!
No, but look, keep looking. Mate, it's got a slice.
Oh my God, what? Oh, that's bad, ain't it?
I bet there's wrongers out there that buy them.
Fucking hell.
And if there is, I'd be selling them for way more than 130 quid.
I fuck the TPD. We're moving into fucking real dolls.
Yeah, paedophilesrus.co.uk.
Naughty toss. Naughty toss.
Where was we? Oh, yes, you've got the likes of Dale that's sort of basically like us with Endless. When we launched the first mod, it literally absorbed all of my money.
Yeah.
Because actually, I put it in there and we went in with, we only done 100 mods, but we done the 12 colours, the 12 sleeves, the RDA, and everything else. And sort of little fortune that we'd amassed was done in one go, pretty much, apart from enough cash flow to keep the stock, the shop stocked. And then obviously we resold that lot of mods, and it brought in a profit, albeit a small profit, because we'd only done 100 mods, so I'd paid a lot more to have them produced. And then we ordered the second batch of mods, and they hadn't even come into the UK before we'd ordered the clean mods, and I had to fund them. So then actually I was down to like the bare bones of anything we had around us. Then we bought out the cleaner mod straight after. So actually, as much as money was rolling in, until we got to a point where we've produced a batch of sleeve mods and sold them, and we've ordered this next batch, and then there's a little bit of profit left, and we've ordered the first batch of clean mods and sold out completely, and ordered the second batch, and there's some profit left. Actually, we spent literally from when we opened our shop, and this is gospel on my dad's grave, the night before we opened our shop, I got in the house about 10, 11 o'clock on the Friday night. Everything was done, and I had about 300 quid to my name in total, cash, PayPal, in the bank, everything. I had about 300 quid to the point where I said to the chap who we'd employed to start on the Saturday, I don't know whether I'm paying you weekly or monthly. If the shop does well, I'll pay you weekly. If it don't, I'll get paid at the end of the month and I'll weigh you in out of my own salary. And then literally, because like over the first few months, I'd had about £5,000 or £6,000 worth of stock on tick off one of the wholesalers, and then we had to get in 3 times the amount of liquid that we used to stock when we were delivering from the house. So all of that absorbed everything that we had, and then literally as we were selling, we was going to the wholesalers daily. We were ordering liquids in small quantities to keep growing it and growing it and growing it. And just as we got to a point where all of that had evened itself out, and I paid for the £6,000 worth of stock that we had on credit, even to this day, mate, we ordered the fucking the light box sign for the shop. It's never ever gone up in 5 years, because actually I cancelled it the first week and said, mate, I ain't even got the 1,200 quid for this, so we'll leave it. And once we've picked it up, and then I was a bit like, I don't need to spend £1,200 on a fucking light box. Had I have done it there and then he've had the money, it'd have been up and done. But then we went through such a boom in the industry that, like I've always said, that boom brought us in more money than we could ever have dreamed of. However, we went to a point where we were sitting on nearly 350 grand's worth of stock in the shop, because there was so much product out there that we had to stock that product. So every single week when we took the week's takings, paid the bills, paid the staff, and we got a chunk of money left, it was literally getting sent out to China, and new product was getting shipped in, sometimes 2-3 times a week, because the industry was growing. So then it took 2 years before I could place an order with China and know that we'd got enough money around us to pay that order. There was times leading up to that where I'd say, well, you know what, let's leave that. I can get them locally and we can buy them 200 at a time for coils or whatever. But actually, we got to the point where if we ordered the spire coils from China, we'd order them in thousands more so than hundreds, because it just made commercial sense because of shipping costs, and the dollar exchange rate was good. So actually, you know what, if we're going to do it and we've got the money around us, to me, if it was tied up in stock or sat in the bank, it made no fucking difference to us. But it took us, I would say, 2 years before me and Tasha actually got to a point where we spent any money out on ourselves. So there weren't these big lavish spends. Actually, we literally played every single penny continually back into the company, constantly. Just as we got to a point where we got money around us, I decided I'm going to launch my own mod. And actually, it took then 18 months of selling Endless and reordering Endless and bringing out new product, because we launched 5 new mods in the first fucking 13 months. So actually, there was 5 lots of investment in separate mods. We launched 3 or 4 different decks in the first 12 months. We done 4 different top caps. We done all the colors. It was just absorbing chunks of money after chunks of money after chunks of money. And until we got to a point where we'd actually resold all the first batches and we got the money back in and we'd reordered, actually we even ended up with any money around us. And then obviously as it starts selling, you're left with money every single time because you've built it back up. But actually, for as healthy as the business was doing, the cash around us was fucking next to nothing. And even down to the point where, look, we're just going into our 6th year now. After 5 years, we bought Tasha's Range Rover last May, because actually up until that point, we didn't even have the money around us to do that, because it was constantly just being flooded back into the business. If you go to Dale's level now, where he's moved to a much bigger premises and he's got a much bigger lab and he's got the bottling machine, if all of a sudden the regulations change where he's got to invest every single penny around him and more to be compliant, at a time where the liquid industry is saturating, there's 2 things that will happen. One is instantly a big percentage of liquid makers, I won't even call them manufacturers because some of them do not deserve the title of a manufacturer, but the liquid makers, 80% of them would fall off the cliff face because they just can't do it. Then you've got the likes of Dale, you've got the likes of the Ace of Vapes, you've got the likes of Prohibition, you've got the likes of V-Juice, Juice Source, that type of manufacturer, where they've got to make a real business decision about, do we take, and the thing is, they're not baby steps.
No, definitely not.
But we've all had the luxury over the last 6 years of taking, even though they weren't baby steps, they were manageable steps because the business was growing so fast. So you'd get big chunks of money in fairly fast, but they were going straight back out again just as fast. But that enabled us to snowball the business to what it became. The trouble is when you get to a certain point and then regulations take a step to move forward, the investment goes from not being a baby step to being fucking six joint fucking leaps, which is potentially everything you've got around you, plus anything you've got around you personally, plus potentially bank loans and whatever else to bankroll a project. That's scary times for anyone, especially if the little nest egg that you've acquired is enough to give you a comfortable lifestyle and both go back into work. I mean, as it goes, like I said, I still work full time. Even if our shop took a fucking, I don't know, a 70% drop, what's left? Tasha could go and open the shop around the school hours and have a wage from that if that was where it got to. It's not an issue for me personally because actually anything we've done in the last 5 years, I've genuinely always looked as a bonus. But I just think these are the times now where people are going to have to make real business decisions based on how they feel the future of this industry is going to go. And the only people really that have got deep enough. I mean, I spoke to Billy at Prohibition at the NEC, and they've built a fantastic business in a relatively short amount of time. Fantastic business. But they've just moved to a premises that's something like 8 times bigger than their existing, and they've only been in that premises for 12 months, and that one was 5 times bigger than the first one. And he said, but they're still keeping the second one because they need it just as a distribution center. And he said to me, he said, Paul, for everything that we've acquired in the last 2 years through this, and the business is still doing really, really well, everything that I had is now tied back up again in the new premises. And it's like starting all over again. You're starting all over again with something better behind you. But the bottom line is, if it goes tits up, you're in no better position than you was 2 years ago.
Do you also think that it's not necessarily just the manufacturers' issues?
It's what, sorry?
Am I have or is it you?
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
Snap your camera. It's better now. I was saying, do you think it's not necessarily the choices of the manufacturers? Do you also think the industry itself, as in consumers, would have to get behind the people that's there, or do you think it's necessarily just down to manufacturers?
What, I don't know what you mean.
A lot of the brands that are out there that are family-run businesses have had a great support from consumers.
Yeah.
We've always had that, especially with those guys. You know, we've got a great following of people who are loyal. Do you think when sort of the big tobacco comes in, do you think the customers would have to stay loyal for the manufacturers to then take that jump? Or
yeah, because to be fair, mate, see, we've got two lots for us personally as a business. We've got 2 lots of loyal customers. From a retail point of view at the shops, we've got a massively loyal, mouth to lung. We stopped them smoking customer base, very high return rate. Then on social media, we've got a very loyal following of general vapors. Some of them mouth to lunging. And it might be because they like me, because they like you, because they like Tash, because they like the fact that we sponsor 2G1V and they like Adele. So we've got all these potential reasons why we've got the following that we've got. However, from a retail point of view, we had some very, very loyal customers that started sub-owned vaping that then become less loyal because they're chasing the pound, because they're spending so much money on a hobby, not stopping smoking. I personally think that big tobacco do not give a fuck about sub-owned vaping. I think they give an absolute fuck about mouth to lung vaping and getting people off cigarettes and getting them onto their products. So actually, they don't give a shit. Otherwise, Philip Morris could have the biggest Facebook page on Facebook through Blue because he'd give away thousands of pounds a week's worth of money, cash, fucking mods, whatever he wanted to do to get that following. He's not interested because actually, you know yourself, there's 50, maybe 60 or 70,000 people included on. I mean, I know UK vape deals are up towards 50,000 on their group now, which is probably 10,000 more than the next biggest group. But I would say that 85–90% of their 45,000 also make up the 30 odd thousand unapproved vapors, also make up the 20,000 we've got between our groups, also make up all these different groups that have got people. So if you say that the vaping industry on Facebook is 60 to 70,000 people, it's a piss in the ocean.
It's 3 to 5% of the market in it.
Absolute piss in the ocean of the market that big tobacco are trying to capture. So I don't think they give a fuck about that market. Philip Morris is never ever going to have an active Facebook page where you can message someone from Blue and say, "Hi, can you sponsor me?" Because they don't give a fuck, mate. They don't give a shit. And that's why I think even at the arse end of all of this, whatever happens, I do believe there's still a very niche cottage industry for family-owned businesses, depending on how it's regulated as far as liquid's concerned. Because if they get to the point where they're the only people in the UK or Europe or America that are manufacturing liquid that's coming into the country, when they've got that foothold, that's when the taxation of the products will change, in my opinion, because they'll be able to fully control it 100%. If we've still got the ability to sell short fill or sell big bottles of high VG, and we've got the ability to sell wire and cotton and canthal and fucking drippers, and we actually become like the traditional tobacconist of the vaping industry, then there's still money to be made out of that. We probably wouldn't have as many staff. We probably wouldn't need even the 2 shops. You know what I mean? The website would probably be doing next to nothing because all the people that buy currently would just end up going to their niche little markets, or they'd be buying it off big tobacco through supermarket outlets, etc. So I don't. But the truth of it is, Tom, I don't know. I mean, these are my thoughts on how it go. These are thoughts on how I would do it if I was big tobacco. And at the end of the day, them boys are not interested whatsoever in building relationships. They're not interested in the community. They're not interested in nothing else other than making money. That's what they're about. So if I went purely to that point in my own head, I'd still leave this. I would have left this industry alone for another 5 years and let it become something quite abnormal in size. And then I'd have stomped it and took over it, and then I'd have controlled it, and I'd have done. That said, mate, you know yourself, they're spending big money buying up companies, big money.
I think that's the scary bit than anything.
The what?
We are going again. Flap your camera again.
Mate.
That's fair. No, that's the scary bit for me, is where we actually turn around and we look at these situations and we actually look towards the future. And we sitting here saying maybe in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, there could be literally no vape shops on the high street, no online. Everywhere you go, you have to go to supermarkets to pick up your vape stuff. And there's literally one vape shop on the street that's had enough dough to keep hold of the niche market of it. Because then you go from having 150 vape shops in one town to having none. And that's the scary part to me, is that you sit there and you do think that it worries me. And I've mentioned it on shows before, but it worries me that these family-run businesses will, if they don't do the right thing at the right time, could end up with nothing.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened with the tobacco companies, exactly that. There was companies that were making millions of pounds, but actually when it comes to investing 200 million into a facility capable of making cigarettes to the standard that the top 5 are making them, they couldn't afford to do it. At the end of the day, like, there's people that are out there that go, "Oh well, they should have fucking spent their money wisely." The bottom line is, if we were making £10 million a year, we'd live a different lifestyle.
100%. Yeah,
now, I'm not saying that I'd be some stuck-up snob,
but anyone would live a different lifestyle. With 10 million
in a different house in a different area that costs more money, where the rates are more, the electric's more, the gas is more. Tasha's shoes collection would be bigger, my car collection would be bigger. All them sort of material things that don't really matter. But it's more a case of, if you've got millions of pounds around you and you want to have a fleet of 6 cars because they're the cars that you've always wanted, they're the things that you would do. Because actually, and I've said it many times, and I genuinely believe it, money does not make you happy. So for me, even though it's give us a good lifestyle, it hasn't changed our lives at all. In fact, if anything, it's made it worse, because there's pressure of running the business. There's pressure of knowing that you've got staff to pay. There's pressure of knowing that you've got bills to pay. There's the unsurety of knowing where this industry is going. When we come to ordering, even with this new mod, I'm like, how many mods do we order? How many mods will this industry support? What should we be doing with our money? Should we just hold it back, and should we just tick the shop over at a level that brings in a regular income. Now, the sort of business part of me says we should do whatever we've got to do to make as much money as we can in a short amount of space as time. The reason for starting this was never really about the money. Well, it was about us making a living. It wasn't about us becoming millionaires. So actually, even at the height of the business, when the money was coming in way thicker than what it is now, actually we spent less money. It was only after that storm had passed and we realised what we'd got around us, where Tasha did buy a nice pair of expensive shoes, or she bought a nice expensive handbag. We weren't living that life of, oh yeah, my God, there's more money coming in than we can spend. We just didn't, because actually my priority was about, we've got this money, play it back in, play it back in, play it back in, and that's what made us what we were a one-shop company that probably 80% of vapers on the internet know who we are.
Yeah.
I have customers coming to our factory, in the galvanizing factory, and they see the manager vaping and go, "Oh, I vape," and he goes, "Oh, my cousin owns a vape shop, Shady Vaping. I've seen him on the internet." That we got that notoriety because we were sort of way bigger than what we ever should have been, in a much smaller premises than most. But we done what we done exceptionally well, and we still try and do what we do exceptionally well. And for me, that was what drove me. It was never the money. It was just trying to be the best, trying to make sure we got everything we needed stocked, trying to make sure that we. But when we broke the Magnus tank in the UK, we were the first people in the UK to have that tank, and it changed the way that people shop with us online. It changed the way people come to our shop. It changed our profile on social media. As silly as it sounds, we were the first company to give away free vape bands. And actually, the shady vaping vape bans were fucking everywhere, all over social media. And we used to get messages daily. Send us £1 and we'll post you 2 out. All you're doing is covering the postage. It cost us 90p to post them out. We were making 10p. The bands cost me fucking 15p each, or whatever it was. I weren't making any money from it. But for me, it was, I actually got a kick out of that. I love the fact that if someone wanted at that particular time a clone mod, people would say, "Oh, if you want a decent clone, go to Shady Vaping." And actually, there's people now that get recommended that rid our wave at that time, and I supported them and helped them and moved them along, and they've got the notoriety of doing that now because of what we done. And I say it was all them things that made me tick in this business. I always done it to be the best that we could do, not to make the most money that we could make. And that was the same when we launched Endless. It was never about. I launched them first mods, mate. £10,000 we'd done in 24 hours, but I'd spent over £8.5 grand doing that just for them mods. And then I'd got fucking 12 different coloured sleeves. I mean, that project initially cost me about 30,000 quid. I sold the first 100 mods in 24 hours and I got 10 grand back. I was still 20 grand light. I've still got some of them tubes down our fucking shop from the very first batch. Because actually, rightly or wrongly, my mindset went away from the sleeve mod because the clean done so well, the cleaner done so well, the dirty done so well. And by the time them were done, I felt sleeve mods were a thing of the past. Now, actually, as it goes, the new mod's a sleeve mod, and I like it, and I'm quite excited about going back to where we started with different sleeves, different colours, changeability, and all that sort of stuff. So we'll see what happens, mate. I still think we've probably got 2 years hassle-free business. Maybe we'll see.
Until the new regs sort of come in.
I just think, yeah, but I think before big tobacco have started really taking a hold of buying up lots of companies and they becoming the main players, I do believe we'd always have a place in this market doing what we do.
This is a big sort of what I'm going to say is quite big and open. Obviously, like when the TPD came in and everyone was threatening, and then Brexit happened or whatever, and everyone was sort of like, yes, we're going to be out of the regulations, we're going to be our own country, we're going to be able to do what the fuck we want. Do you ever think that is going to be the case, where the fact is that TPD is going to be wiped off the face of the earth, or do you always believe that regulation is always going to be in?
They're never, ever going to wipe TPD off the face of the earth. They'll modify it and they'll tweak it. They'll have learned some big lessons in the last. It's whatever it is, 18 months since TPD came into the UK. So it was just about 2 years. 20th of November weren't it actually the date for the 6 months, and then the 20th of May when it kicked in. So we're 2 weeks away from 2 years when we all got right. You cannot take on new products. You've got to remove your stock, and by the 20th of May, you've got to be TPD compliant in your store. And actually, in that time scale, mate, the whole industry's been ruined by short fill, which was a major loophole in the regulation that enabled people, not only the manufacturers that actually snowballed this whole industry. Every man and their fucking dog started making liquid in the last 18 months. I believe that in 2020 they can look at the regulation again and amend it if they need to. And I do believe at that point shortfill will get kicked out. However they do it, I'm not sure how they'll do it. They will. They'll do whatever they've got to do to regulate shortfill. I think we'll see bottle size change. I think we'll see tank size change and go bigger. But at the end of the day, if they allowed, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. If it's sold as a complete unit, and even without the mix shop, it's a complete unit, then it should be tested. If it's sold as concentrate, VG, PG, mix shop, I don't even know how they control it, quite honestly. I don't know. That they'll know.
We know there's companies out there that are still not doing their thing. So we know, as you said before on previous shows, if you had 3 theories, you get fucking 3 milligrams. If you had 6 theories, you get 6 milligrams. Well, we've been in the TPD already 18 months. How are they're still not governing what they've put into regulation? So where the fuck is it going to be where people that are actually going by the regulations, when is it going to be the point where we can turn around and go, there actually is a governing body that's looking after this and we know where we're at?
When big tobacco own the majority of this industry, trading, I've touched wood, and I've got nothing to hide because we were TPD compliant as of midnight on the 20th of May. We've never had a visit off trading standards, and even the people that have not particularly had a rough time of it at all.
No.
There's been a few idiots that have gone out there and said, oh, you can't sell big bottles, and they don't understand the whole fact that there's no nicotine in it, therefore it's not part of the regulation. But generally, the country's had an easy ride. I could have sold everything that I shot off cheap for 6 weeks leading up to the 20th of May over the next 6 months, and no cunt would have batted an eyelid. There's people listing TPD non-compliant TPD products on their website. It's only at a point where big tobacco have got such a hold that they will start phoning trading standards themselves and saying, this bloke's not compliant. This is the reasons why he's not compliant. This is where he's not compliant. This is what you need to say when you go in there. This is what he will say, but this is how you counter it. They will control all of that, mate. I think.
Yeah. Because obviously we are self-regulated, obviously, by the TPD as well. We are, and everybody's obviously moving forward and doing the best, and obviously moving the product forward. Like as we said about the ISO clean rooms and stuff like that. You know, people are going above and beyond what they actually need to. Do you think there'll ever be a way? Because we did discuss this prior to doing banter about basically dob a vendor, dob a dealer. Do you think there will ever become a time where that will become a thing?
Yeah, and I think that they'll rely on that, because at the moment, even though there's a lot of bitching and backstabbing and infighting in this industry, and that's because ultimately when we stood at Expo a week and a half ago, mate, and I don't even know what's spent on that Expo. There's fucking 400 vendors in there. It cost us over £10,000 to be there, and we're small. We had a long stand, but actually, as far as some of the stands that are there, there's people there that are 150 grand in for a stand. So for 400 vendors, there's a lot of money spent just to try and attract everyone's quid out of the same pond.
Yeah.
And the more and more fierce that becomes, the more and more people will start. I mean, I can honestly say till the day that I have to drop my roller shutter, I would never phone trading standards if the bloke 2 shops down weren't TPD compliant. I might get my pals to go in there and smash his fucking shop up and give him a good shivvy. But I'm just not that guy that would phone trading standards and say there's a shop 2 doors down from me and they're not compliant, because I always think you've got to row your own boat and you've got to concentrate on what you're doing. And if you're doing what you're doing well, it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing, even if they're only 2 shops down. It doesn't make any difference, because people will come to you because they want to come to you. We've had a shop open next door to Yardley that has moved from another shopping centre that's been refurbished and whatever else, and they sell all sorts. And one of the things they've done is they've put a little vape cabinet in there. Now they're obviously relying on our customers going in there to buy a fucking cheap bog rolls or whatever, and then going, "Oh, you've got cheap liquid." Now, don't get me wrong, mate. There's customers that have gone in there, and Tasha went in there to buy something for the shop, some cleaning stuff or whatever for the fucking mop bucket. And one of the customers in there, and they've got this like guilty look on their face, like they're cheating on you, and they're a bit like, "Oh, all it is I'm just a bit skint." And Tasha's like, "Listen, do what you've got to do. It's not a problem." All of them, bar some people that come into our shop only to buy out the bargain bin. And I'm not being derogatory to any of the customers. That's just we've got some of them customers. 9 out of 10 come back and go, "I tried that and it weren't that good." Now, this is stuff that I can buy from our wholesaler. I can put it in my shop and match his prices next door. Actually, that's not what we've ever been about. It's not what I want to be about. I'd rather have what we've got in the shop at the price it's at, and we've got the clientele that we've got coming in the shop buying what they're buying, fucking off. Um, but yeah, I'm not. I'm not. People will start grassing on vendors the minute they feel like their till's been affected. They'll be on the phone, mate, saying, "Listen, like I said to you, I went into a big name in the UK. I was in one of their shops when I know they're blatantly filling bottles in the back of their shop with nicotine in it. And because I was in the shop, he was asking this Somalian bloke, "Do you want me to put your nick shots in for you?" This Somalian didn't have a clue what he was fucking on about, mate, because he doesn't know what a nick shot is, because he's never had a nick shot, because it gets filled in the back of the shop and it's got a handwritten label on it, and he fucks off with his 100ml bottle for fucking 20 quid with nicotine in it, good to go. And I could have picked up the phone to Trading Standards on my way home, shook his hand on my way out the door, "See you later, mate," and says, "I know that they're filling bottles. I'm not interested." There's people that come in my shop and tell us that this shop is doing this. So we know it's happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening in my shop. And like I said, right from the start, I was always concerned that, and if we go back 2 years, we were probably even more a prominent name 2 years ago than what we are now, because there was a lot less vendors. And I just felt that we're certainly still, you ask anyone in Birmingham, I'm in Birmingham, a decent shop, you're going to get Evolution Vaping, you're going to get Greys, you're going to get Shady Vaping. They're the normal three that will come out.
Yeah.
And from that point of view, in the second biggest city in the country, if we can be in that three mentioned companies, mate, I'm happy with that. I ain't got an issue with that. But I just said to Tasha, we need to make sure we're compliant. I'm not selling fuck all from under the shelf. When the day before TPD dropped, there was this big shitstorm about RDAs and mods. I'd done a live feed and said, "Look, as far as I'm concerned," mate, my inbox was going mental. Me and James Burr was on the phone to each other. "What are you going to do?" And James said to me, "Paul, if I hadn't have seen a copy of that email today, I'd have carried on tomorrow as normal, because I've looked at the regulation and I believe that we're justified in selling it the way that we're selling it. On that basis, if I pretend I haven't seen the email, I will try and justify my actions to trading standards by quoting their regulation, not by being underhand, not by selling it backdoor, not by sticking it under the counter." And actually, we had a conversation and says, and we agreed with each other. And I says, "You know what? I don't believe that we're flaunting TPD. I believe TPD has not covered my market adequately enough for me not to be able to sell more products. And on that basis, when everyone else was shotting out RDAs for fucking 8 quids and 5 quids and clearing their shelves, it finished some companies, mate. And I'm not going to say what companies, but actually the biggest ringleaders in trying to scaremonger the whole of the industry are no longer trading in this industry.
Yeah.
And I always think karma has a way of playing its part. And actually, there was so much bad talking. I put post up after post saying, "Listen, you worry about your shit. Let everyone else worry about their own shit. What you're doing is you're worrying about your shit. And because everyone hasn't reacted the same way you have, you're trying to degrade every other person that's deciding to row their own boat." I had people inboxing me saying, "Bro, what are you doing? You're going to put all your RDAs under the counter?" Not a chance, mate. They're in my cabinet. Because if trading standards walk into my shop, I will quote the regulation to them that says I can sell an RDA because you've not covered it in your regulation. And if you can tell me different, then I will take them off my shelves. The minute I'm shotting them from under my counter, I believe I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And on that basis, I genuinely didn't. And I'd have stood in any court, up to European court, and says, "We did not flout that regulation. You badly wrote the regulation. You did not cover the products that we were manufacturing. On that basis, we continued to sell them." And actually, everyone that did continue to sell them has prospered. All the people that panicked and started shotting. I mean, Chris had just launched his Pandora at the time, and you got people shotting out the Pandora for 11 quid, and it was wholesaling at fucking £30 or whatever it was.
Well,
And I was just like, not only does it potentially ruin people's fucking brands, it literally ruined people's businesses overnight. I know people that were doing 40 grand a month online trading that within 2 months didn't have a website anymore
yeah.
because they wanted to try and steer the industry and say, oh no, if we all don't sell them, then everything's good. And I was like, fuck you, mate. I'm sitting on 250 grand's worth of endless stock in my shop. And there's no way I'd have produced that if I thought for a minute we couldn't sell the fucking stuff post TPD.
Exactly. But the thing is, they still don't know what's going on. The guys on who are running the regulations, trading standards, still don't have a fucking clue what an RDA is. So you're thinking these companies have shut shop and shit themselves rather than going, you know what, fuck it, we're going to move forward, we're going to read this correctly, go with it. They've shut shop and they're probably turning around and going, what the fuck did we actually do?
You
Why
know
did
what?
we?
There's a company in particular, and like I said, I'm not going to mention their name, that I honestly think that they made the moves that they made openly to the point that made me put a post up saying, listen, fucking row your boat, let every other cunt worry about their shit. But they went public that this was against the regulation and TPD this and backdoor that and bullshit, 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 bullshit. But I think they thought they'd got the support of the high end market of the vapors that they mixed with. And actually, our consumers are quite fickle. And if they might have used their website for 2 years, but the minute they can't get their shit, they want it from somewhere else.
Damn right.
It's as simple as that. And actually, we've seen increased sales post TPD that's held and maintained on our website because we still stock what we stock. Now, I don't stock anything that, in my opinion, is not TPD compliant, but we've still had a healthier web sale business than what we had previous to it. Because prior to that, our shop was very, very healthy, and I didn't particularly concentrate on the website whatsoever. It was fucking outdated. There was hardly any stock on it. Everything was on there. It was all out of stock because no one, I didn't even employ anyone to actively do. You know yourself, you spent the last 6 weeks pretty much working solely on the website.
Yeah.
And for me, it's become a big part of what we do, and it should be a big part of what we do. But this industry, mate, it's different. It's really different, and it's not one that I enjoy like I used to enjoy it, because it's too business for me now. And it's not that it's outside them. I mean, I'm quite happy with the business challenge. It's not an issue to me. But actually, this was always for me. It was a hobby that give us a wage, that changed our life to a point that was supposed to give me and Tasha a better quality of life. And as much as it has, it's put massive pressure on us as a couple because it's been a constant growth for fucking 6 years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And actually, literally the reason for me starting to sell vape gear was to earn enough money. I can't even remember what she was earning. She was doing three nights a week at a petrol station.
Look at the
If she was earning £120 a week, that's all we need. If we could earn that, then actually that replaced her time. We got to spend them 3 nights together, everything in the gardens rosy. And from the day that I started, mate, she might have done 2 weekends after that. And then we were that busy delivering that she actually gave up a job and started delivering. But then for 7 nights a week, we were never together because I was out delivering, she was out delivering. We got the kids in the car. If I could get all the deliveries done, she'd be at home cooking tea for the kids, getting the kids to bed. Every single Friday and Saturday, without fail, we were both out in the cars, in separate cars, on different sides of the fucking city, delivering kits and doing what we've done. And that happened every single day, bar 4, until the day that we opened our shop. And then because we got the premises, people started traveling to us. And then the industry grew, so we had more products in, new products. We had a big social media following. Our shop was full every single day of the week. It was full constantly. I've never ever, for the first 3 years, I never once drove past that shop and not seen a customer in there. And 9 times out of 10, I'd pull over and go and help serve because it was 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 deep. Every single hour of every single day. Ridiculous. But actually, all that time that was happening, more than Tasha's relationship weren't rocky, but it was different because
my back burner because you were too busy driving.
obviously whenever we seen each other, it was good, but we just didn't see it. And then I'm obviously at work in the day. I'm out delivering overnight. Then the shop, I was down the shop every night for 12 months. I used to work alternate Saturdays. I worked every Sunday. Then Tash started going down the shop, and then she started working in the shop on regularly. And then it just became another thing in our life that then became a business that weren't the reason why I set it up in the first place.
Do you think the drive of it is different? Not you personally. I mean, your drive was literally just get another wage in and get Tash in and get her working, and you was enjoying it and you was doing it for a totally different reason. Do you think the drive of people who are running businesses now is way different to what it used to be?
Yeah, it's fully money orientated. Fully, absolutely. And actually, even as we grew that business to levels that we grew it to, there was months where I didn't even know what we turned over, but I knew we'd done well because I knew that I'd ordered fucking 100 grand's worth of stock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, literally, say we were that busy that I'd have the accountant on my case saying, "Mate, I need your accounts. I'm doing them. I'm catching up. I'm doing them." And actually, there was times where I would input 3 months worth of figures into Sage, and I was like, "Wow, I didn't know what we were turning. I knew the shops every day. I got a total from the shop, but actually, 9 times out of 10, I'd literally open it and close it just so I didn't have a notification showing on my fucking phone. And it was just madness, mate. It's just madness. And now we have to look at things. The good thing about them times was we had 2 and 3 staff in the shop at one time, 4 people on a Saturday at certain hours of the Saturday. Um, there was no worry about anything, to the point where if I knew there was no money down the shop today and someone was dropping off a 5 grand order, I'd say to them, "Well, don't go tomorrow. Go the morning afterwards." I knew the money would be there to pay them. It was just mad. It was mad times. And actually, I think because I was so detached from the business side of it, because I was actively scouring emails, making contacts in China, making contacts in America, doing all the things that actually I really, really enjoyed that part of it. Now I hate the fact that I can drive to a wholesaler in Birmingham and get 80% of what I want from my shop. The other 20% we still buy direct from China because actually that's where I want to get it from. But actually, I love the fact that when we got Slushy Man in, we were the only shop in the UK with Slushy Man and distroed it. Cost me £12,000 to do that, to have 3 flavours in my shop. 12 grand's worth of order I had to put in to get exclusive rights on it. But actually, when people phone Slushy Man or message them on social media and says, "We want to stock your liquid in the UK," they used to say, "You need to get Shady Vaping."
That's another question I've got for you. Do you think the loyalty of shit's gone out the window as well? Because it is.
I had a conversation. I popped into the wholesalers this morning, and I met Tasha there, and I was talking to them, and we had a conversation about Pancake Man. Well, about this whole thing. I was talking about Slushy Man. I said it's mad to think that for me to just get one brand of 3 flavours, my first order with them was $12,000, and I'd never tasted the liquid. I'd never tried the liquid. But actually, I watched them grow on Instagram, and I watched them grow, and I seen the Yanks raving about it, and I was like, and actually the same day, I'd sent them a message at stupid o'clock in the morning, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning on Instagram. And the next morning, Aaron, that used to work for us, Aaron was like really active on Instagram, and I didn't really understand Instagram, to be perfectly honest with you. But Aaron messaged me next morning and says, "Mate, I've seen this range on Instagram, Slushy Man, man. They do 3 flavours. They're supposed to be fire, blah, 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 blah." And I said, "You know what? Believe it or not, I messaged them last night and I got into a conversation with them, and we managed to get the UK exclusive on it." Then you got the likes of Pancake Man, and Pancake Man went from zero to hero overnight, because it was at them times where something different was dropping. Everything that was different that dropped, hit the fucking roof instantly. It just hit the
Yeah.
floor running. But I can remember them giving UK exclusive in 10 ml TPD packs to a company, and 19 days later, drop the short fill and give UK exclusive to a different company on 50 ml short fills. And 2 weeks after that, give UK exclusive on the 100 ml short fills. And to me, that is just shafting 3 companies back to back. And it's just about getting some dough, to the point where we were shotting out 3 TPD bottles in the packs for £1.50 last month, because I got it off the wholesaler at fucking 80p a pack or something. So we had it just in store, just cheap. And then I think, you know what, you might have made that lump of money quick, but them lumps of money won't come in when you treat people like dickheads.
Yeah, definitely, because you destroy your own brand. That's when people are doing that themselves, destroying their own. You got a lot of brands these days that are literally building brands with inside brands. So that what I like to call that a drip and flip. So you literally create a line, you drip it, you flip the fucker, and off it goes. It hypes up for a week and then dies, and then they do another one inside the brand. And to me, that's sort of where it's gone now. It's gone where you literally seeing all these brands creating, and they've got 100 flavors in their brand, but they're using other brands inside that, and once again, not being loyal to where they need to be. They're literally just dripping and flipping, and off it goes. You know, the loyalty of that, as you said, of I was the individual person, and they turned around to everybody that asked, where do I need to go to get this? Can I get it from you guys? Now you need to go to see Paul at Shades. There is none of that anymore. There's none of that sort of.
Mate, I mean, I can remember I was getting the donuts that I posted a couple of weeks ago, the yellow donuts. So Ibs at Innovapors, which is also in Birmingham, he had UK exclusive on that liquid. And like I said to you, I can remember ordering that in the hundreds of bottles off Ibs. And now I can get to a wholesaler, I can pick up 3 of one flavour. I can pick up 1 of one flavour if that's what I want. But I can remember ordering donuts in the hundreds, in 0, in 3, and in 6. And then they dropped Pebble donuts.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
So the first time I ever ordered donuts, we had 50 bottles of each, and we sold out in days. Then I'm back onto him saying, you know what, I'll take 200 of the 3. I'll take 50 0, 56, because obviously 3 used to outsell them like 4 5 to 1. And he was like, yeah, saying I'll do that, but then I've got to wait for the next order to come in. Then I'd sell out and I'll be on to him. Is the order coming? It's due, mate. It's just clearing customs. Then he'd fucking message me, mate, it's in. And I'll be tashed, get up to Innovapors and get fucking 300 bottles of each, and we'd have it in the shop. Then Pebbles dropped, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take 250 just to be on the safe side. That's just how it was, because then I had, I don't know, 25, 30 brands of liquid in the shop.
Yeah.
We got to the point where we had over 160 brands of liquid. Some of them brands were carrying, like we were the first shop in the UK to take Bordeaux off Dexter at Vape Importers. And Bordeaux, I think, off the top of my head, was a 20ml bottle. I might be wrong, but there was about 24 flavours. And I took the whole range. Again, another 10, 12, 15,000 pound order. Quality liquid. We were the first shop to take the whole range, because most people then were going, well, I'll take the fucking the watermelon one, and I'll take the strawberry one. I was like, you know what? If we're going to do this, we'll do it fucking right. Do it properly. We had exclusive in Birmingham on the Balls Vape that come from America. And it was like them things that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed negotiating them deals. I enjoyed sourcing them. I enjoyed speaking to the people that had exclusive on product and being able to get it off them, because I'd built a relationship with them. But then you've got other people that were Manchester based that had got family in America that started backdooring stuff into the. I mean, I can remember another shop in Manchester phoning me up and saying, "I see that you stock donuts, we can get it." And instead of being £9 a bottle, I'll do it for £8 a bottle. And I was like, "I'm good, mate, thanks. I've already got. I know that Ibs is the UK distributor for it, and that's where I'm going to get my shit from." And I'm still like that to this day, mate. I would never buy nothing backdoor. I got offered Vapors Cloud through a backdoor source from Manchester, whose family are in America, and they were bringing in the American product. And I was like, my pal is the distributor for him. I'm not interested. And they're like, nah, but we can do it cheaper, bro. And I was like, yeah, no, but it's not. I don't want to operate that way. And even though we were selling clones of the products, actually, that was just a different market. That was just a different market we were working in. But then, as them times started to change, people were just backdooring people left, right, and fucking centre, mate. And then actively doing it to piss people off and saying, "Fuck you, you can't have exclusive on this because I've got it as well. So fuck you."
And I reckon that's changed the industry a lot in itself as well.
Yeah, like, I think it broke friendships, mate. It ruined friendships, and it ruined relationships to the point where people are like, I can't deal with them. If Mike Vape Master Balfour tags me in another fucking live feed, I'll fucking 10 notifications.
Oh shit, I've got them all.
I know you're also tagged in it. Yeah, and I think when people start being underhand like that, mate, it's like I don't know. I can't deal with people like that, quite honestly.
It's where friendship and business don't mix. That to me, if you haven't got that line and you don't want to gauge that line between a friendship and business, and you literally just out there just to stab people in the back just to get a penny more than they do.
That's the
And it's
thing.
like you said the other
Money,
day, and I'm gonna mention it later.
the money never ever motivated me to any extent. So on that basis, I'm not going to fuck over a friend just to say, yeah, you can't tell me what I can and can't stop because you might have UK exclusive on it. I've managed to get it as well. The money didn't bother me that much. So therefore, I'm not going to fuck no one over just to have a product in my shop and do. Even down to like Zeus, I got offered Zeus juice through different sources, and I was like, no, if I buy it, I have to buy it through James. As it goes, Zeus in our shop didn't sell particularly well, although it's a fucking quality liquid. It just didn't sell particularly well for us. But I could have got it and stocked it and said to James, fuck you, actually, I've got it in. And he might have been able to find out who was doing it. The only people that I did do it with was Flatwire. And that was because I was getting it cheaper than what James could do it to me for. So actually, I was buying it through a source that I shouldn't have bought it through. But I weren't being underhand with it. I posted it on Facebook. It was on our website. Daniel Littleworth phoned me and asked me who was getting it. And I wouldn't tell him just because I didn't want to fuck the bloke up that'd give it to me. And apart from that, it's the only product I've ever done it with. And actually, even James messaged me and says, mate, look, I can supply this. And I was like, I know, but I'm getting it for, if you can match that price, I haven't got an issue. But I'm not going to pay more for it when you're the Midlands distributor or whatever he was at the time. I just think generally attitudes have changed. It's just literally become about money, mate. And it's like, even selling our products, we still give one of the best margins on hardware. And we still give over a 50% margin on liquid. And still people want another quid off, or they want 50 pence off, or what do I get free, or what am I getting for this? Or I don't know, it's just different. It's completely different.
It's like changing into like a proper dog eat dog industry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than being sort of you help your friend out, and because me personally, I don't suffer with fucking green eyed monsterness. Whether somebody's made a fucking £1,000,000 more than me or whatever, I don't suffer from it. And I think the celebration of people's success is in non-existence anymore. You know, I'm quite
No,
happy
no,
to
I need to put a post. I mean, I did put a post up last night saying, please share this post if you know a cunt and blah 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 blah. But actually, what actually inspired me to put that status up was so many people in the early days would. So and it's not because I've got any bitterness that they're not supporting me. It's a bit like the whole, bro, we've got your back, and then it's like, oh fucking hell, actually he's doing all right, man. Fuck him. I'm not helping him anymore because I haven't got that much around me. And actually, I've given away not as much as what I've made, but we've given away a lot of shit in fucking 5 years, probably more than most of the companies in the UK, whether that be money or whether that be hardware or that be time. Them three things have never been an issue to me at all. And um, I hate the fact that like there's people that don't stock our liquid, not because it's not good liquid. They don't want to support what I'm doing. And there's people that I've supported from day one and took on every product they've ever launched without question, without even knowing what it is. And they'll message me and say, I've just dropped this new line, send me this much. Now, but I'm not talking fucking hundreds of thousands of pounds, but I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds with some people, and they've never bought so much as, or very, very few of my products. Very, very few of them. And even though they've says, mate, you've always supported me when your liquid drops, I'm on it. Not an order off them. And I'm not bitter about that. I'm not gonna stop stocking their products because they don't stock mine. There's people out there that have done that and says, well, actually, if you're not stocking mine, fuck you. I'm not stocking yours. That just don't make any business sense whatsoever. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I just think there's all this like, it's like, I don't know whether this is just me, but family members who will say, I'm always there for you when you needed me. And I'm like, yeah, you was, but you've never been there for me when I didn't need you. And that's because you get so much self-satisfaction about picking me up off the floor that you're actually doing it for your own ends. You're not doing it for me. And when I don't need you and I'm not there 7 days a week, because I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, you feel like you can't even be like, you know what I mean? It's like all or fuck all.
Yeah.
And I know,
I do that.
do you know what I mean? It's like some people will go, oh yeah, mate, the second you need it, they're on the phone. Come and sleep on the settee, come and do this, come and do that, da 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 da. But when you become self-sufficient and you don't need them, you don't need them, they don't want you, because actually it's their need of them that they want, not the fact that they're helping you because you need help. If that, mate, I can't explain it any other way.
No, I get that 100%. And
And on that basis, I see so much of it in this industry where people are like, oh yes, I love Paul Harrison, I love what he does, I love what he does. Yeah, keep doing that. His mods are good. He's doing this. He's doing that. He's doing great things. Then they go, fuck, and more so where people have supported me and they've came into the industry themselves, because they've not managed to get the foothold that they might have thought they were going to get. All of a sudden, they can't support me anymore because if I support him, there's less chance of people supporting me. Where actually, I've never ever once.
that's
You
deep.
know,
That's deep.
I used to hand check every cunt's mod, whatever mod I had. I was selling my own mods. I'm hand checking scoundrels. I'm hand checking fucking AVs. I'm selling £60 mods. I'm hand checking £500 mods. That weren't to give it the big one. That's just what I was using. If I was using a clean mod, I'd hand check the clean mod. There's other people that will only ever hand check their own stuff. They'll never fucking allow anything else to go on and all of this sort of thing. And even like with Mech Addiction, we delete posts off Mech Addiction that are advertising, not because we don't want people to advertise their product, because the sponsors on that group. So actually, it's to be respectful to the sponsors, not to push down the people that are trying to get the products out there. There's other companies like Lee Hodges, for argument's sake, at Apex. It's a UK company. Post what you like on there, mate. Knock yourself out. You don't even sponsor the group, but do whatever you've got to do, because actually, if we can support a UK company, I'll do that. Now we don't allow people to share live feeds on my own group, but there's certain people that share live feeds that they remain up there. If someone shares a competition for their group, it gets deleted. And I know there's people that are like, yeah, fuck you, man, as if Paul's deleted my post. To be fair, I don't even think I'm admin on my own group because I got removed. Now, you know what? I only realised yesterday because I did go to delete a sales post that had no name and date on it. And actually, I couldn't delete the post. And that's because someone took me off when we were doing a live feed through there because I couldn't go on there as Paul Harris. I've never been added back, so I'm not even admin on my own group. So if your posts are getting deleted and you decide that I'm a wanker for it, it's not me. It's just the admin that have got a list of rules that they follow and they do their job. But
no, going back to your comment though, like going back to your comment and what you said about people not supporting and stuff like, it's really sort of resided with me. It's even like it's made me think, that comment's made me think, even just like dropping somebody a message saying hello, how are you, I'm can honestly sit here and say I'm guilty of that a lot of times. And it's not necessarily because I'm being an asshole, and obviously I know you're busy and stuff like that, but then I reckon, like, I don't even message you and say hello, how are you, and it just that really resided with me. That
yeah, but I mean, you know what I do with my sister? I've gone to message my sister to say, Kerry, can you do me the one who makes the cakes? Can you do me a favour? You have the kids the weekend, or can you have the kids Friday? And when I've looked back through my messages, every message was me saying, Kerry, can you do me a favour? Can you have the kids? So actually, every once in, and I'm not a messagey, but you know, from one week, I mean, me and you might not speak from one banter to the next week if we're both busy. Yeah. I'm not a messagey. The only person I speak to regular every single day is Tasha.
Yeah.
And actually, if I'm at work and we're talking to each other on Facebook, I'm talking, then I might go into a meeting so I don't speak to her for an hour. So I'll try and mess her and say, I'm not ignoring you. I'm in a meeting. As soon as I'm done, I'll mess you. Or she'll say to me, I'm just going to drive to the shops. When I get there, I'll mess you. We've done that for 10 years. Every day we've spoke on whatever level we're talking. Apart from that, I don't think to message people. My own mum, I'm like, I literally, Tash said to me,
I'm not messaging my mum, but she's got coffee
recently. I'm like, actually, I haven't. And look, she'll say to me 20 minutes later, did you message your mum? Nah, fuck it, I'll do it now. And even if it's just a hi, mum, how are you? Everything okay? Do you need anything? Whatever. So then I try and send a message to my sister once in a blue moon that just says hi, and she'll say hi, and I know she's thinking, what do you want? And it's like, how are you? How's business? How's the kids? Da 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 da. All right, and I'm off now. I'm busy, and it's just more than just to do that than it is to say, hi, all right, yeah, you okay? Yeah, can you have the kids for me? Because we've got an expo, or we've got this, or we're going to Manchester, or we're going to Dales, or whatever we're doing. And people are busy. People are busy. However, I also, there's 3,000 odd people on my friends list. I bet there's not 2 or 3 of them that have got a message off me anywhere saying, I need this off you? I need your help. Because I'm not that guy either. But actually, I've got lots and lots of people that probably look like my messages to my sister. That the only time I get a message off them is when they need something, they need me, they need time, they need money, they need product, they need something. And that happens more and more often, to the point where I'm like, fuck you, actually.
Yeah, I get it. That proper aside to me, proper like it hit me. That's proper deep, and it's like even just saying to everybody in the chat, just send me a message, just saying hello, because it runs deeper than just being like friends in this industry. Just like that comment there just proper hit me, and it's like even just out there, like you saying, messaging your mum, you know, you never know what's going to happen. Just to say hello, somebody, how are you? How things going? How's shit going? And that's proper aside with me. I'm like proper flabbergasted.
Even like my son, he's 16 in a couple of weeks, but actually, unless I physically think about something, I know that I don't message him nearly as much as I should. Truth be told, he doesn't message me nearly as much as he should. And actually, there's a bit in the middle where we'll copy each other and we'll have a chat and whatever. And as he's got older, he comes and sees me less and less because he's out with his pals or he's out doing his thing. And it seems that more and more often as they get older, the only times you really hear off them is when they want something. Now, out of everyone that I don't mind doing that for, it's my kids. But I'm just not a very, I'm busy. I'm busy all the
Yeah.
time. I'm busy all the time. And if I'm not thinking about work, I'm thinking about me, Tash, and the girls. And it's like,
And you're not wrong for doing that. You know what I mean? There's
nah,
nothing wrong with doing that.
I'm really, really conscious of messaging anyone for anything when the last message that I've sent them was only, have you got this in stock, or can you get me that, or I need some liquid off you, or whatever. And actually, I do try with the people that I should, is just to send a message every now and again and say, are you okay? Do you need anything? Or if I see someone's having a shit time, I will message. That's when I'll think, you know what? And I'll message them and say, look, if you need anything, you know where I am. I've got it. I've got your back, whatever. But I'm just not the sort of person. I don't text people. I had a text off my brother that I never even seen, because the only time I ever get a text message off anyone now is I fucking hear you say I've got a voicemail message. So I'd seen that there was a number 1 on my text, but I never even opened it because I just assumed it was a voicemail, and I don't check my voicemails. Because actually, if I was too busy to answer the first time, I don't even want to listen to what you've got to say on the fucking message. So phone me again. If it's that important, you'll phone me again. And then actually, when I did speak to my brother, he was like, I did text you. And I was like, in fact, I tell a lot, I seen it and I messaged him straight away. And I was like, mate, why didn't you fucking message me on here? He's like, I have. But he'd messaged one of my other profiles. And it's just like, mad. It's mad. Life's changed. So I mean, just generally, we could reminisce, I suppose, about the good old days and all that malarkey. But it's mad to think that 20 years ago, let's say 20 years ago is probably even too short a time. 25 years ago, there weren't even so much thing as a mainstream mobile phone. I knew people that had them 25 years ago, so I'd have been 17. I had my first handset when I was about 18 or 19. I was to be fair, I was early on. I had a mobile phone, mate. I had no cunt to ring because no one that I knew had a mobile phone. I didn't even know how to store a number in my mobile phone. I had a piece of A4 paper with people's numbers written on it that I used to take this big fucking battery off and put between the phone and the battery. So
My granddad still does that to this
if
day.
I wanted to make a phone call, I'd take my battery off, take my fucking my phone book out, put my battery back on and phone some cunt, and then it'd be like, yeah, ring me back, mate, I'm on my mobile, bam, fucking £900 a minute or whatever. But life is different, and I went to a customer's yesterday morning. I was talking to the 2 girls in the office because the bloke that I'd gone to see was having a shit, as it goes. And I just saying, look, with Christmas coming up, and it's mad to think how old Chloe was as a 9-year-old compared to how old Mia is as a 9-year-old. And actually, to me, Mia's still like a 9-year-old girl. Chloe at 9 was like a young teenager. And I think we've done really well to keep, like, even like Ava and Mia will play dolls and stuff like that. And Shanae will even join in. She wouldn't want to admit it in front of her pals, but the three of them play together, sort of quite old schooler. And considering financially we're in a better position than we've ever been, actually, yes, they'll sit and play on tablets and stuff like that, but they'll still play old school shit. They still draw and glue and paint and all them things. And actually, with Chloe, and maybe because she was my oldest, she sort of grew up way, way, way too fast. And I see so many kids now that are just like growing up too quick, and their life revolves around fucking. My life is right here, mate. That's it. And if I lose that, I'm fucked. And when my phones have crashed in the past, I'm fucked. Um, it's
It's
mad.
how times move, but it's like you just, it's like you listen, you think back to how it was and how it is now, and everything sort of changes so much. And by the time you turn around, you know what I mean? Like I'm looking now, I just turned around the corner and Poppy's fucking 3 year old.
Mad. Crazy. Time goes so, so fast.
And just sending somebody, it's going back to what you said, it's just sending somebody a message, just say, are you all right? Do you know what I mean? I know everyone's busy and everybody's not got time to sort of message everybody all the time and be happy. We all have shit days. Majority of the time when Paul has a shit day, he tells us on Facebook. But we all have shit days. We're all busy. We've all got shit to do. Life moves on. But then you think about it, why have I not got 5 minutes just to say to somebody, I hope you're all right and I hope everything's going well for you?
You know, the best way I always thought about it was that if I phoned up all of the family that I would phone up in the event of a funeral, like I did when my dad died, and actually we've got 80 fucking 90 100 120 150 people, whatever it was, a fucking church full of people and a fucking whole load of people outside, and 50 cars following his coffin to the fucking church when he's dead. The same people that I phoned up to say my old man's passed away. Now, granted, there's family that were there, bam, straight away. There's other people that travelled for the funeral and popped and seen my mum and whatever, or they send you a text message saying sorry to hear about your dad. If I messaged all of them 150 people and says, me and Tasha are going to have a party at Christmas, and they'd be going, oh, I can't get the time off work, mate. I'm really busy there and I can't do this and I can't do that. But if the funeral fell on that same date, every cunt would be there, to the point where I've genuinely thought about pretending some cunts died.
Just to get everybody in the
Just to
same
get
room.
everyone in the same room at the same time and then go, I'm joking. He's not really dead. Here he is. Let's have a fucking party and celebrate some time together.
It's not a bad idea. I won't
And it's
lie.
just mad that actually, look, my old man always used to say when he was alive, if that cunt stands in the fucking church crying when I'm dead and he can drive past me fucking house without stopping for a cup of tea when I'm alive, I'll fucking haunt the cunt. I mean, and it's
Right.
true. It's like people can make so much time for situations that don't need time, and yet day to day, you don't take a lot of time to put a smile on lots of people's faces quite quickly. Just very quick. Even just like I say, there's times where Tasha just messages me out of the blue and it just says I love you. And actually, for me, even if I just send back I love you too and some kiss gum in a meeting, the fact that she's thought about sending that still means a huge amount to me personally.
Yeah.
And I don't do that as nearly as much as I should, because actually I'm thinking about different things. And when I do think it, I do send it and I do try and do what I'm doing. But actually, when I send it, I mean it because I've actually thought about doing it. You know what I mean? I don't want to just send it for the sake of every day at 10 o'clock, I get a fucking notification say, don't forget to message Tash and tell her you love her. Because to me, it's the spontaneous thing of someone just saying, all right, mate, just wants to say, hello, hope everything's okay. If you need anything, you know where I am. Speak to you later. Life's busy. Bye. That's good enough for me. Do you know what I mean? But so many people are just caught up in life that they're not even living their life.
Yeah. I'm a very much thing of, if I won the lottery tomorrow and I had a mass amount of dough around me, I'm at the sort of thing where would it change you as a person and all that sort of thing? Would you have more friends and stuff like that, or would the people that were really around you at the time still be about? And do you know what I mean? That's what reminisces with me. When shit changes, people change, and whether they change for the good or the bad, it's sort as you said, they're all caught up in their own little life until
Yeah,
something
yeah.
comes that's an opportunity.
One of the other ways of summing it up for me was when we opened our shop and we had such a big radius of no shops around us that actually, because our shop's so close to where I grew up, anyone that I knew that vaped come to my shop and bought their shit. To the point where there was people that come in there that I hadn't seen for fucking 10 years. And I knew they were only coming there because they knew I was in. I'd post every time I was in that shop. I'm in the shop, come and see me, have a coffee. And obviously, people would come, not buy fuck all. We'd have a chat and a laugh and a joke. And they might be there from 9 o'clock in the morning till 8:30 when we shut. And we're just building, blowing clouds, fucking about, doing videos, posting them on Facebook, whatever it was. But there's certain people that be like, oh, yeah, Mint Paul's in, man. I'm going in now, I'll get a cheap mod or a free mod. And I used to dip out the back. I'd see him crossing the crossing, I'd dip. And Dave might say to me at the time, you in there, your pal's on his way? And I was like, yeah, I'm out here, mate, just serving. And I'd hear him in there going, oh, yeah, I'm Paul's, mate. What can you do that for? And he'd be like, Dave used to be in a dilemma at the start. And then when they'd go, I'd say, look, in future, if someone's my friend, tell them to phone me.
Mm.
If they've got my mobile number and they can phone me and say, all right, mate, I'm in the shop. There's people that I'll say, not a problem, mate. You can have that for fuck all. Put me on the phone to whoever's in there, and I'd say, yeah, give him whatever he wants. And if that's £100, £200, £500, take whatever you want. Because I know if I needed them, I'd get more back. 9 times out of 10, they go, oh, I ain't got his number, mate. You ain't got my number. You ain't my fucking friend.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah, the show's got fucking pretty deep tonight. I'm in my fucking thoughts tonight. I'm in my thoughts. I've honestly changed a little bit. Just shit you've said tonight has proper got on has set with me, and I'm sort of flabbergasted with stuff you said, and it's really resided with me. That's how shit is, and it does go back to what we're saying about the industry and everybody sort of working together and being together. It's sort of you only want me because you want something, and I'm only that good person because you do want something, and
You know
you
what?
know.
I genuinely believe that same level of not wanting to support people is why vape meets aren't as successful as they used to be. Because back in the day, if I posted I've got a vape meet, every man and the dog would share that. Oh yeah, we'll meet you there. I'll see you there. Now they're like, I'm not sharing that. If I share that, some of my customers might go to Paul's shop, and if they get to Paul's shop, they might never use me again. And it's like that whole like, I need to keep everything as close to my chest as I can. I need nothing to be shared, nothing to be said. So actually, we have a vape meet now, and it's them loyal followers that will see that we're having a vape meet that will come. They're the people that will share our stuff for us. They're the people that can come into my shop, and I'll look after them, and I'll spend every hour and minute I've got speaking to them because actually, I appreciate everything that they do. There's people that share our stuff that aren't sponsored by us. We've just started working on this whole new thing. And obviously, there's people that we've been posting about brand ambassadors and stuff like that. And actually, over the course of the week, it weren't even about brand ambassadors. It's more about the industry ambassadors. And look, for anyone that don't know, we've added 10 or 12 people to one group that we've sort of got on a team, and we've got another group of people that we're going to be working with to see whether we want them to come over. And actually, I haven't got a limit on how many I want that to be. It's certainly, and you know yourself, Tom, in that chat, and there's people that are watching this now that are in the chat. Actually, one of the things that I said right at the start of the chat message when we added them people and said, "Welcome, you've been chosen. This is what we're looking for. This is what we want to do. If it's not for you, you're more than welcome to leave. There'll be no hard feelings." But one of the first things that I said was, "This is not about spamming the whole of the internet with shady vaping, build them, endless AF." Because I know that naturally will get people's backs up because they're like, fuck's sake, man, as if Paul's man, he's got all these fucking minions doing this shit for him. Now, it's not about that for me. For me, it genuinely is about trying to revive something that we had 3 years ago where people were posting cloud videos and they weren't getting mocked and other people had fire back and all that. So all the stuff that we spoke about this a few weeks ago, it become cringer. But it become cringy because I grew out of doing cloud videos. But that doesn't mean that when someone who's new into it, who's quite impressed with the fact they can blow a fucking 8-foot cloud out of a fucking baby beast V12 quad coil fucking fused Clapton Staggerton fucking .1 tank. If that's what's floating their boat, then actually we should support them. So actually, and again, I haven't gone after big, massive names in the industry. I'm not trying to create a whole group of high-profile people. There's people that we've got in these groups, mate, that are relatively unknown, but I see what they do and I see how they conduct themselves, and I know that they're going to be loyal. And it's not about being loyal to us where they're not allowed to post other people's liquids and other people's mods because they're now we've captured them.
Yeah.
It's about being loyal to what we do every day, which is if you're a mouth to lung vapor, support the mouth to lung vaping vapors. If you're a suburban vapor, support them. If someone does a cloud video and calls you out, take 2 minutes to put the call out back to them and just do a video. And actually, you do that, and there is a chance that something can grow. And if we can do that, it don't just help my company, mate. It helps every single person that's vaping because I'm not just capturing people within a 5 square mile radius of our shop. We've got people on there that I've never met in real life because they're too far away. There's other people that I have met and spoke to, but it's not about trying to capture and take over and shady vaping, endless mods build and become the be all and end all of what vaping is on the in the industry. Because I'll never do that, and nor do I want to do that. And actually, I asked people who they were sponsored by, because if there's any direct conflict of interest between me or that company, I don't want that drama. I'd rather say, well, thanks ever so much for getting involved, but actually go and do what you're doing for them because it don't work for me, or what you're doing for us might not work for them. It doesn't make sense that we've got other shop owners involved because there will be a conflict of interest somewhere. And so on that basis, I weren't like not one question to any of them people was how many followers have you got on Instagram? All 8,000. Yep, welcome to the team. It's not about that. People that I know have only been vaping for 7 months. Michael Brown, and actually Michael is a friend of my nephew's. He's actually my other nephew's brother-in-law. He started vaping through because Zach vaped. So he started going to the shop, and now he travels from Great Bar to our shop, and he's gone on to Met Mods. But actually, to me, it's like them. Excuse me, them new school vapors potentially can have that old school vibe,
Definitely.
but they're dismissed that quickly in the industry on social media that it fucking fizzles back out to walking in the shop, getting what you want, and fucking off. Not walking in the shop and saying, right, mate, chuck some of that fucking 20 gauge 980. I want to see what mad build I can do on it. And sitting in the shop and fucking about and doing and whatever. So that's what I'm trying to do is actually, can we revive something that ultimately changes the industry? If the industry changes just one click, you don't just change one click for me and my company, it changes one click for every other company in the country, potentially. And every click that we can change it ultimately changes the industry. So that's what I'm trying to do. And if that's if there's going to be people that look, we come up with the members with the EM out of endless mods, which was actually Tom's idea. But we've come up now, which I like. It sort of people some sort of sense of of
belonging, isn't it? It's a belonging, you know.
Something. But actually, it doesn't mean that someone who's a member can't post a picture of a Vapors Cloud mod. Do you know what I mean? It's not about that.
Old school back to the new
I don't want to impose a set of rules to them people and say, right now, you're never allowed to fucking post Flatwire because it's only about build, and you can only post AF Juice or Birmingham Fog because that's ours. Any mouth to lungers, you're only allowed to vape Shady Vaping's liquid. All I'm doing then is capturing a 20 people group of customers. That's not what I wanted to do. It's not what I want to do. It's not what this is about. It is about trying to have a lot of like-minded people in various groups trying to encourage and grow the new people that are there. And if the old people are grumpy and miserable and taking the piss out of cloud chasing videos, fuck them off. Get your own grumpy group and go and sit in there and fucking discuss whatever you're discussing.
Yeah, do yourself,
And so that's the essence of what I want to try and achieve. And I believe if we can get enough people on board with that, it has to make a difference. It has to make a difference.
And I agree with that 100%. I have got some of the ask the boys questions, but if you want to leave them, we can leave them until next week.
No, let's go.
Should we do it? Yeah, wicked. Let's go for it then, and then we can do Paul's status of the week. I was looking at my phone, then looking at Paul's status of the week. I was gonna read it then, but we'll go to ask the boys, and we'll get some questions in. We had some funny, silly questions that I won't mention because obviously people like to be funny fuckers and ask Paul what pants he's wearing and shit. It's always Kelvin Klein, I know that. So we'll have a look and get some Ask the Boys. So, some of these questions we have answered before. But this is going back to old school. This was the first one's from Neil Pugsley, and it's kind of an old school question. Question for Paul and Tom. What would you say has been your favorite setup you have owned in your time vaping, and why has it been your favorite? We're definitely going back if we're talking about when we because for me this question is basically asking us at the time how excited was we about vaping, and I've got to say at my first ever device that got me off it, that's me personally, because that was the height of the excitement of vaping. When you first got into vaping, it's all new to you, it's all new tech, it's all fresh, and that's sort of the first where you're like, fucking hell, I'm into this, I like it, it's doing well, it's doing what's supposed to. So me, it would be my first ever device. What about yourself, Bob?
No, well, for me, it's probably my first ever device was a cigarette, and actually, I remember sitting in my kitchen at the breakfast bar on the store, and I got it out of the box, and I read the instructions because I did not have a fucking clue about this thing, and I bought it from the wholesalers. I bought it from Costco, so they didn't talk you through it. They literally, I bought it, and I'd gone to Costco to buy other stuff with all intentions of going to Maryhill that day to buy a cigarette, which was actually the brand, weren't it?
Yeah.
And I knew that they got a stand, and for that week, I'd had a chest infection for fucking weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks on end. I was wheezing like a fucking 90-year-old man. And in that week, I remember saying to Tasha, Saturday, I'm going to Merrill. I'm going to buy one of them electronic cigarettes and see what the fucking crack is. I've got to give up smoking. And we were spending a fortune on fags, more than what we spent on the fucking mortgage. And it was like, we went to Costco. I said, we'll go to Costco, pick up whatever we've got to get from Costco, then we'll shoot over to Marion. I went into Costco, and actually, they'd just launched the vape stick in there that morning. And I was like, this is a message from God, this. I'm going to buy one. And it was actually about 28 quid, which was obviously like, because obviously Costco's like a wholesale price. So I went online, and it was $69.99 or $59.99 online. I was like, well, it's got to be decent. It was a UK company. I didn't know nothing at all about this shit whatsoever. And I bought it for 29 quid or whatever it was with the VAT. And I remember smoked all the way home in the car, fucking had me fags, got in, lit a fag up so I could read the instructions on how this fucking thing worked, and got it all working. And I remember taking a drag on it and being absolutely mind blown that when I blew out, fucking some smoke come out. I didn't even know what he was going to do. I'd not seen one of these things working. And then Tasha was like, fucking smoke just come out of that. And I was like, this is mad. It's like smoking a fucking fag. And it didn't taste like a fag. And it still doesn't taste like a fag. I've never tasted tobacco that tastes like a cigarette. And if you could crack it, I'd be sitting here talking to you from my yacht. I remember thinking, it blew my mind, and the little end lit up whenever I took a drag on it. And then I come and sat in the living room, and all the kids were in there, and they were all like fucking sat around me, like I suppose back in the 50s when some come put the telly on. And literally, and they're all going, have you seen Dad's new fag? Have you seen Dad's new fag? And it was like a thing. And then I went to work on the Monday, and everyone was like, what the fuck's that? I was like, electronic cigarette, man. Fucking hell, have a go, fucking. And I started selling vape sticks to family and friends because this thing blew my head, and I'd not had, and from the day that I charged that. In fact, I said to her, put the battery, come with 2 batteries, put the battery on charge, and I'll stick the fucking pod on this one and see how it goes. And from that day, for 11 months, I didn't touch a cigarette, not a drag of a fag, nothing at all. And then I fell off the wagon, smoked for about another 10 months. I think it took me 10, 11, 12 months to get back onto an electronic cigarette. And I went from the vape stick. Then they brought out the Vape Stick Max, which in essence was a 650 battery, but the same pod system. And it just became more and more of a struggle for me to even get what I needed from that device. Then I went on to an Ego from Totally Wicked. Then I went on to the variable voltage battery. And then I was fortunate enough that the technology changed as quickly as I needed it to at that particular time.
Yeah.
because actually I found that even though I remember walking in with the Totally Wiki kit that day and saying to Tash, this is what I need. And I knew straight away I'd got the same sort of excitement that I got 2 years before that when I took the very first drag on a vape stick. And I remember giving her a drag and she was going, fucking hell, yeah, this is good. But the difference was Tasha never ever wanted to give up fags. She was a bit like, I'm good, I am. And then the more we got involved in it, the more she vaped, and then she dual used, then she vaped, and then she dual used, then she vaped, then she dual used, then she vaped. It was never ever her intention to stop smoking, and it was only really when we opened the shop and she was down there all the time that because she weren't smoking a fag during the day at work, she stopped smoking the fag on the way home in the car. Then she stopped having the one after a tea because actually we just had our vape, and it just became a way of life in this house and for everyone that I knew. And them sort of experiences what literally grew my passion for what we were doing because we were converting people from smoking to vaping every day of the fucking week. It was just mad. So all of them new devices that I got a lot along the way were my best devices because they were the ones that stopped me from smoking. Because when the normal 1100 Ego and the C4 stopped giving me what I wanted, I bought the Mini Pro Tank and a variable voltage battery, and it gave me what I needed again. And I was excited. And actually, I run with the Mini Pro Tank all the way through, even after the Nautilus had launched and everything else. Even when the shop was open, I had a big fucking 1300 Vision spinner. 1600 mile Vision spinner with a mini Nautilus tank, a mini Pro Tank 2 on there because I loved it. I loved the vape off it. The fucking airflow was perfect for me. I used to put my new coil in and straight away I'd know I'd got a shitty coil and I was going to have to suffer it leaking for a fucking week, or I was going to change it there and then. But I knew that tank, and so all of them devices have been exciting, and my best setups up until the AO, and for me the AO is an all-round mouth to lung device for 30. I think we've reduced it now to 32.99 or whatever it is they're all there's never been a better time, and I say this every week to any customer I ever speak to. Every week has never been a better time for a smoker to start vaping because the technology's advanced.
Exactly. I'm gonna add a question into the boys this week, and this question is something that I saw in a comment in a group, and it was one of our groups, and it was someone mentioning about dual use, and the question I've got is why is there such a stigma between about from vapors about people who dual use?
Again, my opinion this is, but I believe that vendors created that stigma because it's a bit like Marjorie at Fat Club telling you need to eat fucking lots of brown rice while she's eating a custard slice at the same time. And it's exactly that scenario. And if I've got customers coming into my shop and I'm going, yes, I've stopped smoking, mate. I've stopped smoking 60 a day. But really, I'm out the back fucking smoking my head off and I stink like a fucking dirty ashtray. I can't, for me personally, I went from the day that I had the Totally Wicked cigarette, I went 3.5 years without touching a single drag of a cigarette, not one drag. And I had the first fag that I'd had in 3.5 years on my honeymoon. But I enjoyed every drag of it, Tom. And I've said, I always say that to my customers. I'm not one of these smokers that go within 6 weeks, fuck me, I'd never touch another cigarette. They're fucking disgusting. I'm like, if I ain't got my vape, I'm having a fucking cigarette. I know that I am. I know I'm that guy. I'm that person. I've got my vape in my hand all day fucking long. And for the occasional cigarette that I have, I enjoy it. But I'll say that to customers. Like customers have so a lot of customers put pressure on themselves to say, look, they're trying to convince you that they're not having none. And actually, when you spend 45 minutes talking to him, he's like, well, I'm having the first one in the morning, and I have one after me dinner, and I have one in the car on the way home, and I have one after me tea. I'm down to about 5 a day. And I'm like, mate, you were smoking 60 fags a day. You're smoking 5 fags a day. If you enjoy every drag of them 5 fags, within 6 weeks, you might only be having 2 a day, one first thing in the morning, one last thing at night. Enjoy them, don't stress about it, because the more you stress about it, the more you'll start saying, fuck it, I'll have 10 fags a day. Fuck it, I'll have 20 fags a day. And I'm still saving 40 fags. Before you know it, you'll be on 80 fags. So actually, if you're a dual user, you're a dual user. I said it all the way through that boom of sub-ohm vaping. I did not believe that all them people that advocated to be non-smokers were non-smokers. I didn't believe them. And actually, I've been to vape meets, mate, where there's 10 people around the back of the fucking cloud tent smoking fags at the break.
Yeah.
And I can never get my head around it. Not the fact they're smoking, the fact they pretend they don't smoke.
Yeah.
You dual use.
I can't disagree with any of that. I think we have as a, not us personally, but as an industry, we definitely put that stigma in there that if you're a smoker and you're in a vape group and you vape as well, you shouldn't be really doing that. And you are necessarily looked down on, aren't you? Let's be realistic.
The trouble is, there's people in there going, "Oh, you smoke as well." Fucking sat there with a big spliff, but because it's weed, it's all right. And I'm like, I don't even get that. I don't get it at all. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. And for lots of people, they stop smoking. For me personally, I've done 3.5 years. I've done 11 months cigarette free. I smoked for about 12 months, but during that time, I dual used because I kept trying again to get back onto a vape. And to be fair, the vape stick just wasn't cutting it for me. A bloke come to the factory, had a drag on his ego. I didn't understand how to put my own liquid in because I'd never had to do that because I had these fucking capsules that pushed in. And actually, he was like, all you do is change that, and you've got a coiling sword. You need to change that every 1 or 2 weeks or whatever. And I had a drag on it, and I was like, you know what? I can do this with this. Go and buy me the kit. I'll give you the money. It was about 90 quid or whatever it was for that kit back then. Which in hindsight, mate, totally wicked. Must have been fucking cleaning up at 90 quid, man. Them kits were like fucking $6 from China, the robbing motherfuckers, but that's a different story. but like for me, then it was about not wanting to smoke. But the other thing was, I never ever not wanted to smoke for health reasons. I only ever not wanted to smoke for financial reasons. Now I'm in a position where if I want to smoke fucking 100 fags a day, it's not a problem. I'll smoke the cunts. But actually, if I smoke fucking 20 fags a week now compared to 60 a day, or if I smoke 3 fags a week or 1 fag a week, I never ever feel guilty about having a cigarette because
And I don't think anybody should.
Claiming to be the vape guru who's going to get you off cigarettes. I'll say to any customer that comes into my shop, if you've got the will to want to stop smoking genuinely, and you get the right device, and you spend a little bit of time and money chopping and changing liquids, or even chopping and changing coil ohmage, or chopping and changing wattage, airflow, and spend 2 or 3 weeks properly getting into it, you will give up smoking. If you've been dragged in there by your missus because she wants you to stop smoking, there's a 95% chance you'll be smoking within 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because the minute your missus fucks off out to bingo, you're going to have a fag and pretend you're vaping. Now, I don't get that at all. Do what you've got to do. And actually, if you start getting into them, like some people get into vaping and they're successful because they love messing. They love fucking about. They love taking it apart because it's leaking and cleaning it and putting it back together. And that becomes part of the hobby of not smoking, doing something with your hands, and you've just changed what you're fucking about with for much less money. So for me, dual using is what it is.
100%. Right. Well, that's the questions for tonight. We're going to go on to Paul's status of the week. I like this one. And it's quite relevant. And it's you never really know your true pals, who your true pals are until they're hanging the back out of your missus. That's the fucking truth right there. I fucking liked that one. And you did some corkers this week, some really fucking good ones, but we're gonna leave them. If you're a Paul's friend and you want to see his status, what we need to do is we need to start a voting system. So I want to start a voting system what everyone thinks, because since we started status of the week, Paul's got back on it, like proper on it.
I can honestly say, mate, I've never once posted a status thinking, "Oh, this is gonna make it." I mean, you know what? It is what it is, man. I fucking.
And one thing before we do shut the show off, if you, Paul has posted this, if you do believe we are worthy of a nomination for the EC Click Awards, get yourself on there and give us a vote if you think we're worthy. We're not going to do giveaways and beg you to do it. If you want to do it and you believe we deserve it, then that's fine. We got nominated last year, earlier on this year, actually.
If you think that all the work that I do for charity no, I mean, mate, I think I might have shared the link 2 or 3 times, and actually every time I've said Click on the link. If you think we're worthy to be put in any of the boxes, knock yourself out. I mean, back in the day, mate, we won Store of the Year. In 2015, Shady Vaping won Bricks and Mortar Store of the Year with the EC Click Awards. That was because we had such a massive following on social media that I used to put a post up every day and say, don't forget to vote for me, don't forget to vote for me, don't forget to vote for me, don't forget to vote for me. Now, the reality is, in 9 out of 10 cases, Evolution Vaping deserve that award, in my opinion. Genuinely, I mean, I'm not here to like pretend we're the best of the best of the best of the best. We do what we do. But as far as bricks and mortar shops concerned, Dale's got a fantastically nice shop. Evo's shops are very nice. My shop is about selling vaping products. I've spent less than £1,000 decorating that shop over a 5-year period because it didn't change what our ethos was, and that was to sell vaping products. So I don't want to be voted for best bricks and mortar of the year because I don't believe we're deserving of it. Now, if we win that, it's something we can stick up next to the best stand and the best Met mods, and we've won a few awards over the years, which is all well and good. But I would rather someone actually go through that and say, "Yep, best liquid AF," because you've used AF, you like it, it's what you want, and it's what you use, and you love it. I don't want you doing that just because, and that's why I didn't want to say, "Oh yeah, anyone who votes for me, post your screenshot, man, and we'll send you out a free bottle of liquid, or you'll go into a draw to win 12 bottles of liquid and a Met mod and da 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 da." And for the amount of stuff we give away annually, which is thousands of pounds, for me to give away a £500 bundle on a random draw for people that have posted a screenshot of their vote for me, it'd be easy for me to do. Actually, I'd rather it be authentic people saying, actually, I don't think he's got best bricks and mortar, but I think they deserve this one or they deserve that one, and actually do it properly. So if you want to vote, vote. If you don't, I fully get it. It's not an issue. I'm not going to cry in my soup over it. But that way, if we do win something, I feel like it's more authentic.
The Sub-On magazine one that we won for Best Met. We didn't even know we'd been fucking nominated.
No, I didn't know we were nominated. We hadn't asked anyone to vote for us because I didn't realise there was a vote going on. So for me, that one, the one at Vape Fest, to be fair, we shared about and we got the most votes in. But that says I do believe we deserved it for that particular show. James won best overall vendor because for variety or whatever. James deserved that award because he had the most variety in his circus tent, and on that basis, to me, if the awards go out to the right people for the right things, I'm all for it. And then you've got these people that go, yeah, vote for me, 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 vote for me. They don't win it and go, yeah, them awards are bullshit anyway, man. Well, mate, get a fucking grip, you dickhead.
Oh, fucking hell. Right, well, we're out of here. Thank you ever so much, everybody who joined us. I know there was a lot more people tonight joining us, a lot of new faces. So if you haven't already subscribed, I've had a load of notifications during the show being people subscribing, which is absolutely awesome. Make sure you slap a thumbs up on the video if you did enjoy the show tonight. And we'll see you next week, Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Yes, we're always fucking late. Get used to it. We'll see you next week.
See you later.